This episode is brought to you by Airbus, U.S. Space and Defense. Marine Corps Expeditionary Advanced Base operations require logistical support when and where Marines need it. The Airbus UH-72 Unmanned Logistics Connector provides proven performance and reliability alongside next-generation autonomous capability. As the Marine Corps revolutionizes warfare, the UH-72 Unmanned Logistics Connector evolves to support it. Visit AirbusUS.com to learn more. That's AirbusUS.com. We would like to thank Airbus U.S. Space and Defense for sponsoring this episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scuttlebutt. It's Nancy here with William.
Howdy ho.
And our guest at Modern Day Marine 2024 is Alyson Schumacher. She is a Marine spouse, and she is here to talk to us about some of the events at the Spouse Summit today. Welcome, Alyson.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Sure. So I've been married to my Marine for 20 years this July. We've been a couple.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We've been a couple for 25 years. There was a war in there that kind of held up. Yeah, there's,
I heard
war
about
or two
that.
here, kind of held up the whole, wedding. But anyway, so 25 years. We've got two kids, graduating senior and a 8th grader. I'm myself personally. I started my professional career in social work. I have an undergraduate degree and a master's degree in social work. Did that for about 10 years-ish with various places we PCS'd, and then now I'm a teacher.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, we basically have the Marine or the military family panel here, the military family roundtable here.
All right.
I'm a Navy kid.
Awesome.
Air Force wife.
Very
William
cool.
is a Marine.
Yeah, Marine brat on both sides. And then my dad went on deployments and my mom stuck around. So I get, the best of both worlds.
Yeah, cool.
So what brings you here today?
So I came for the Marine Corps, for the Spousal Summit, to take part in that, see what it was about, and just enjoy being with fellow Marine Corps spouses.
And tell us a little bit about the panel discussion and the luncheon you just attended.
Sure. So we had a lovely luncheon. The Commandant's current spouse, Assistant Commandant's current spouse, and Sergeant Major, the Marine Corps spouse, were on the panel just sharing their experiences as spouses, which ranges from, I think, 36 years as a military spouse to 3, which is great.
Yeah.
And just kind of sharing some wisdom, answering some questions about, how they've done what they've done as spouses.
What do you think the biggest misconception is for the non-military affiliated population about what today's Marine spouse is like and what life is like?
For today's spouse?
Yes.
What do I think is the biggest misconception? That we don't work, that we don't have our own dreams and aspirations separate from the Marine Corps, that we are overly involved in our spouses' careers, that we are infinitely resilient and able to do any and all things without challenge.
These are all really big topics and important
Yes.
to take on. No, great.
Yeah.
Great.
But I think that when I talk to friends from home, these are the things that have come up over the years. How do you do what you do?
And the reality is it's really different for today's generation of military spouses than it was, for my mom's generation in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. Totally different.
For sure.
Lifestyle and different expectations.
Oh, certainly. I still think there's a flip of employment, I think is a really big concern. I know I have struggled over these past 20 years in active duty service with my husband of trying to maintain a career, follow my own dreams and aspirations, have a working wage.
Yeah.
I watched what I was being offered drop consistently over the years from, a livable...
Because they knew you were going to leave soon?
They either knew I was going to leave, or there's only so many jobs that you have access to. You've been out of the workforce for a couple of years. Every time you move, you have to start over. Your network is gone. Your network is gone. So depending on the career you're in, you've got to transfer certification hours, a lot has changed. I think there's a lot that's changing to support working spouses or spouses that want to maintain a career. But there's probably a lot of work left to be done there.
So over the time you've been a military spouse with the Marine Corps, what incremental positive institutional changes have either improved
Sure.
Or
Sure.
have stayed neutral or potentially have even gotten worse over the years?
So I think the ability to get reimbursement for licensing is huge, extremely important.
Right.
That definitely would have helped me 20 years ago, for sure. I think the work they're trying to do around portability of jobs within the Marine Corps' infrastructure, right, like MCCS, and being able to move from one position in the Marine Corps Community Services to another without having to start over fresh when you move to a new location. I think that's huge. So some of those initiatives I think are great. Things that are neutral, I just think there's still a lack of, my girlfriend and I were just talking about, we've always worked, and so our ability to make friends and connect with other spouses is limited in scope.
Yeah.
Right? I am not available to decorate the clubs at 10 a.m.
Right.
I'm not. And I'm not available for a luncheon at noon to listen to a speaker.
Right.
I'm not available. And I'm tired at the end of the day because I've been working, and I may not have the energy to go to a 5 p.m. meeting of a volunteer organization.
Right. It makes it challenging.
Or I may not have the time to volunteer, right?
Because you're raising your family.
I'm raising my family.
Right.
I need to be home for my kids. So I think there's still a disconnect between what the DoD and Marine Corps would like to provide and what is actually possible or happening. So I think that's kind of my neutral.
Okay.
It's kind of my neutral. I think it's always been that way. I think they really want to do things to support spouses who want a career and an education and a life outside of the Marine Corps, which I think as a spouse is paramount to your mental health.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky situation.
So what is one thing you'd like to see happen in terms of, as William was saying, institutional changes?
What is one thing I'd like to see happen institutionally? I have to think on that one for a
Okay,
minute.
we can
that
come
one's
back
big.
to that.
I'm like, ooh, what could I change? If someone gave me a magic wand and said, Mrs. Schumacher, you can change this one policy.
No, it doesn't have to be one. It could be,
A couple
you
things?
can just
Yeah,
start
absolutely.
word vomiting policies.
I think, and maybe it's just, we need to continue the cultural shift of understanding that, especially this younger generation, does want an identity separate from the institution, right? They want to be able to cultivate their own space for them.
Yeah.
And figure out a way to balance that with kind of talked about it today at the summit, the drinking of the Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's a tricky thing to do, but how do you balance really truly having policies that will support a working spouse in the long term? I mean, there's talk about it, but not moving us so often would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I get from an institutional perspective why you want to be moving your force and you need to fill the billets you need to fill. I get that. But at the same time, when you're moving, I mean, my son attended 4 different schools in 4 different years simply because of what the Marine Corps required of us as a family. And that takes a toll on him.
It does. Yeah.
And it takes a toll on us. And it took a toll on my career. Things had to get put on hold. So the things that the rest of the family wants to be doing are, because we're moving so much, right? Then we joke, my husband and I, we've been here too long. We're starting to root in. We don't want to get too comfortable, right? You don't want to get, so I think not moving families, if it's possible, give us 6-7 years somewhere. Really, truly give us, don't say we're going to give you 6-7 years.
Actually do it.
Then
yeah.
actually do it. Like, really give the monitors the opportunity and ability to make that happen.
William, how many schools did you attend?
Oh, I was lucky because it was towards the end of my dad's career. So I mean, I was born in San Diego. He did a stint with I think the Marine Corps Reserves out in Missouri for a bit, and then it was he was working in D.C. for a bit at the Old Navy Annex building, and then was in Quantico, and then after that deployed to Iraq twice, but then got out at the Marine Corps. So I'm actually pretty fortunate. I didn't have to move to too many schools.
A little more stability.
Yeah, I mean, I went to maybe in total 4 or 5 schools, so like it wasn't too bad at all whatsoever. But speaking of the child aspect of it, because not every military spouse is necessarily a mother, but
No.
what are some of the extra obstacles that you have to take to account when you are a military spouse mother?
I don't have family to help.
Right. Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, I have no one to help. Like, even just like the smallest of things to be able to have family. We got, it was a surprise to us. We ended up with orders to Portland, Oregon for recruiting. And it's 3,000 miles away from home. We had nobody. We had never, there, and it wasn't there was no base. Like, there isn't it was for recruiting.
You're on your own.
We were on our own.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have the military community around us to kind of, they're there, but it took a little bit longer than
right.
just moving into onto a Lejeune or.
When you move on to one of those sort of enclaves of people who are all
Yes.
in the same
Yes.
boat, or who all
Yes.
understand in the same circumstance,
So
they
then
all
you
come
get
together.
that organic
You've got
family.
your community.
Yeah. So I think not having family, and for some that's great. They don't care for their family, and so it's a welcome reprieve, right? But for others, that's hard. Balancing childcare is hard.
Yeah.
Our third move, I was pregnant with our second. Had left one of my most favorite jobs. Actually working here, I was actually down in Fredericksburg at Mary Washington Hospital, working in their ER and in their psychiatric facility as a social worker. Fabulous job, love my job. And then it
It's time to
was
move.
time to move.
Yeah.
And we moved to a place where I could not find that same job. And I was pregnant with our second baby. And it was during the surge into Afghanistan. So he was gone. Basically, of the 3 years we lived there, he was gone for, 2.5 of them, doing what I couldn't work. It was just impossible for me
Right.
to have a full-time job, a 3-year-old, a baby,
And no family support.
no family support in a rural community where I wasn't going to get paid what I had been getting paid in Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and so you just kind of don't work. So those things, right? Like,
Exactly. So as
not to focus solely on work, but
absolutely. So as we're starting to wrap up this interview, I guess where is light at the end of the tunnel in terms of all these issues? What progress do you see being made either by the Marine Corps Association?
I think the summit is great. I think if they keep going with this, they're going to get more and more draw, right? Like, you
Right.
almost have to
Yeah.
do something a handful of times to get the word out.
Sure.
And so I would hope they would continue having the summit. I think offering a virtual opportunity for this summit to just get more people involved. I don't know if that's an option. It didn't seem like it was an option for the summit, for
Awesome.
some of the things. But I think what they're doing is great. Some of the initiatives I heard today in the employment breakout, as well as the education and child care breakout, were fabulous. So I'm hoping those will continue to get traction.
And so, to our audience who may or may not be military spouses or mothers, what advice would you give to them?
If they're not say that again.
So, if they're either a military spouse or mother,
one or the other,
one or the other, or both,
somewhere in between,
somewhere
or a significant other.
All of
Words
the
of
above.
wisdom.
You need, if you are involved in a relationship with anyone active duty in the military, you find your own identity and always be looking for it, because that is the best thing you can do for yourself. You have to have something separate from what that service member is doing that belongs solely and only to you, that you attach only your name to.
That is great advice. Really good advice.
That would be my best advice.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. We enjoy, and to our audience, do what you can. Write your congressmen, write your senators, and let's try to help some military spouses out.
And stay tuned to Marine Corps Association for more initiatives on this topic.
Right. Awesome. Have a good one, y'all.
Thank you.
This episode is brought to you by the Marine Corps Association and Modern Day Marine. Attention, Scuttlebutt listeners. Prepare for an incredible experience at the Modern Day Marine Expo, happening April 30th to May 2nd at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. Dive deep into military advancements and networking. Plus, the Objective One Wargaming Convention is back for its second year. Expect nothing short of awesomeness, so bring your A game. Don't miss out. Secure your spot now. Also, Nancy, William, and I will be on site recording episodes live from the showroom floor. Come by and say hi. Visit MarineMilitaryExpos.com for more details and to register. That's MarineMilitaryExpos.com. Hope to see you there. Scuttlebutt is a production of the Marine Corps Association. You have heard the voices and contributions from Major Vic Rubel, USMC retired, Nancy Litchman, William Trudy, and our guest. Ty Frazier is the editor, sound engineer, and technical producer. The Marine Corps Association is not an agency of the U.S. government. The opinions expressed in this episode are the personal views of the participants and do not reflect the official position of the United States Marine Corps, the Department of Defense, or the Marine Corps Association.